Hello, I am Miss Jane from Miss Jane's Tutoring and Dyslexia Services. Let's talk about special education help, the role of a dyslexia advocate. As a dyslexia advocate, it is not uncommon to have parents or guardians contact me, usually panicked, asking if I can come to an upcoming IEP meeting at their child's school. Examples of their concerns may include the following: denial of eligibility for individualized services to address a student's learning issues, concerns that the services their child receives are ineffective and a student is not making adequate progress, their child's individual education plan, IEP, or their 504 plan is not being followed, and the list goes on and on. Inexperienced parents or guardians often find themselves agreeing with and signing paperwork they do not fully understand. Even worse, they may end up in a disagreeable relationship with the school team because their child is clearly not improving adequately. At their wits' end, they consider seeking outside help. Where can they turn to? There are advocates who specialize in special education and specifically dyslexia. A dyslexia advocate can help parents or guardians navigate the often confusing, complex special education processes and programs within the school system. It is vital to understand that a dyslexia advocate is not an attorney. There are situations where seeking legal advice is the next best step forward. However, an advocate may be a better place to start and a more cost-effective choice. First, let's focus on the role of a dyslexia advocate. A dyslexia advocate is different from a general advocate because he or she knows information specific to dyslexia, including the laws governing dyslexia and specific learning disabilities, including the legal definition of dyslexia, and can explain those laws in an easy-to-understand way. A dyslexia advocate knows which interventions are research-proven and effective. This includes explaining and listing the specific intervention program on the IEP, corresponding goals, accommodations, and modifications to the regular curriculum. An advocate knows the difference between what is acceptable intervention and what is best. Unfortunately, schools are not required to give the best, for example, one-on-one tutoring. However, schools must provide what is acceptable, research-proven intervention for dyslexia. An advocate knows the special education processes and therefore can advise a family when to stop and speak privately, when to sign or not sign proposed documents, and equally important, knows when to request higher-ups to attend a meeting. Let's talk before signing those papers. An advocate knows local legal professionals that are well-versed and respected in the field of dyslexia. An advocate understands the structure of special education laws, including students' right to and the school's responsibility to provide FAPE, a free and appropriate public education based on students' individual needs. Now that we understand what a dyslexia advocate knows, let's discuss what they can do. An advocate can help a family figure out what they want and can reasonably ask of a school.
He needs one-on-one tutoring every day for 60 minutes.
An advocate can help a family understand the school's perspective and make efforts to keep a positive working relationship between the family and the school. This is also a chance to educate the family and the school about dyslexia. The school must provide the right intervention, but they do not have to provide it in the best possible way, such as a one-on-one setting. An advocate can represent a family by attending IEP and other school meetings. Hello, I'm Miss Jane, and I'm here with Mrs. Smith to support her son's education. I'm available to answer any questions about dyslexia. An advocate can conduct background activities, including research, not only from the standpoint of educational law, but also analyze relevant information about a student, including getting to know a student to discover his or her unique strengths and areas of need.
I like playing with Legos.
An advocate will review a student's educational history, including grades, testing results, and IEPs.
Here are the records you requested, Ms. Jane.
Using this background research, an advocate gives feedback, interpretations, and suggestions to the family. An advocate will supply a list of research-proven intervention programs that directly address dyslexia. An advocate can check student progress and identify needs the school is not addressing in order to reach a student's goals.
Please copy your spelling words from the board.
Ugh, copying is so hard for me. I hate spelling.
An advocate can disagree with the school, so a family doesn't have to directly. In other words, advocating. The goals on this IEP do not address this student's needs, and they must be rewritten before we agree to sign the IEP. I'm happy to help with this. An advocate can write letters and file compliance complaints. You may ask, who are dyslexia advocates? Advocates often have a background in education. However, there are advocates with various backgrounds that also make them effective. Parents or guardians who have already navigated the special education programs in schools make excellent advocates because of their experiences. People with specialized degrees in education, psychology, or are former school employees, such as teachers, tutors, or paraprofessionals. There are advocates that work within the same office and under the supervision of educational attorneys. But please understand, an advocate does not have a law degree and therefore cannot practice law. Like parents and guardians, an advocate is like another member of the IEP team brought on board by the parents or guardians of the student. The IEP team is composed of biological or adoptive parents, legal guardians, or foster parents. The team also includes at least one regular education teacher of the student, at least one special education teacher, a representative of the public agency, usually an administrator, and in some instances, when a student is old enough, it is appropriate to include him or her in the meeting. The IEP team handles conducting all the correct processes and putting in place the day-to-day plan for meeting a student's needs. Every member of the team is valuable and has an equal voice in decision-making. A family's input is just as valid as other members of the team. This means if you hire an advocate, you are bringing them onto your team. You are not hiring an advocate to replace you, but instead to collaborate with you. This requires your input and effort, but with an advocate's guidance, it will definitely be easier to navigate. One of the most important roles of an advocate is to recognize when it is right to seek legal counsel from a qualified educational attorney. While the advocate specializes in supporting students' educational needs and rights within the law, an educational attorney may be needed to enforce the law. Examples of when an attorney may be needed are when the IEP team, including parents or guardians, cannot come to an agreement about eligibility, IEP services, when a student's rights are violated, or when there are compliance issues. Now that we have defined the role of a dyslexia advocate, you may be asking, where do I find a dyslexia advocate? The primary goal of the Council of Parent Advocates and Attorneys is to secure effective and appropriate educational services for children with disabilities and protect their educational and civil rights. On their website, also listed below in the video description, you can search for advocates that are near you. Many interventionists or tutors like myself may have training in dyslexia advocacy. If you are searching for a dyslexia tutor, you may want to ask if they also have knowledge to be an advocate. Even if an interventionist or tutor does not have training in dyslexia advocacy, they can still provide support, direct you to a dyslexia advocate, or if necessary, legal counsel. If you are interested in becoming a dyslexia or special education advocate, there are a variety of courses and trainings offered by various organizations. I recommend the Dyslexia Training Institute Advocacy Certificate course, as well as the online resource called Wright's Law, founded by attorney Pete Wright and psychotherapist Pam Wright. This is the resource online and also listed below in the video description. It is important to note there is no formal licensing for dyslexia advocates. Please like, subscribe, and share this video.